closings are down 25%, blah, blah, blah. Just because the country wants to sell less, doesn't mean we need to individually sell less, right? Other people can sell way less and we can sell more and the numbers are still right. So don't let that story confuse your mind. And I wanted to tell you guys, because what you're seeing in your individual business and what we're seeing in our office-wide business, November, we were, I think, 4 units off from last year. A huge change from where we've been in March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, right? 8 months of oops. In November, we're popped back to where we were. So that's a lagging measure. It's not a leading measure. We're looking historically backwards and saying, what did we do compared to what did we do last year? And now as we move forward through the rounding into the new year, will be interesting to see what happens. So keep working, keep doing all the best things, and know that you're not different if your business feels different this year than it has before. That makes you completely normal. Okay. Where's my Zoom friends? Does anyone have a bucket to fill before we move on to events and calendar? Anyone? Anyone?
I think Eve has a big bucket today for her help with Ashley.
Oh my gosh. Yes, for those of you who didn't see Ashley's post, Ashley's Uber driver stood her up even though it was scheduled, and she was panicked to get to the airport with her puppy for her flight at the crack of dawn. What time was it, Evie?
I got a text at 5:10.
She got a text at 5 to 10, and Evie got her, so Ashley drove furiously to, not furiously, but you know, fast and furious on that.
I might have scared her a little bit. Pulling over like 5 hours before to go.
And Evie got her to the airport and she's safely on time and she is flying, and she's probably heard of there right now to teach another session, so that's why she's not here with us today. So yeah, and Evie, you know, and for everyone who's taking Bold, next week is the last week of Bold. And it seems like putting a hybrid meeting on, we don't have more than a handful of people in the room and then people are on Zoom and balancing it all out. Y'all, the organization of the events that we throw here take a lot of energy. So I know I filled your bucket last week, but I'm gonna say it again. Thank you, Evie, for always making us look good. All right, upcoming training and events. It is the end of the year, so things will start to slow down a little bit to let you have more time for family, friends, and business. And we do still have a lot going on right now. So do you have a mic back there? Or maybe just talk?
Oh, no, just remind them about the holiday, the rest are pretty much.
Okay, so the schedule stays the same. What you're gonna see now for the rest of the year is the traditional stuff that you're seeing. Language of real estate with Stephen Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. Thursdays where you can be in person. Next Tuesday and Thursday. Tech trainings. I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know how many different ways to say tech trainings or command trainings or learn things. We had a mastermind room this morning with top 20% agents, and a lot of the conversation lives around not having the right systems in place for follow-up. So if you feel like that's you and you don't have the right systems in place for follow-up, or you could be better, and you're not taking Nick up on his open office hour or his trainings that he puts on, are you the problem or is something else the problem? Just gonna let that sit there. And then our holiday party. So I already said Market's House is next Tuesday, not Wednesday. I know that's what's different and weird. We'll blast it 100 times. You'll be really excited to get text, emails, and Facebook notifications. And then the holiday party is December 16th. It is a Tavern and Bowl. It is a feel-good, fun, dress as you wish. Yes, if you have a cocktail gown and you want to wear a Tavern and Bowl, we want you to wear it. Evie, you won't be alone. There will be lots of people dressed up. And if you want to come,
Sarah, I just wanted to give Susan an opportunity to do this.
oh, cookies.
Correct.
Yeah, Susan, last call for cookie drive.
Yeah, last call for cookie drive. I know we're kind of a short squad today, but there are a lot of people that are just not showing their face too. So just a reminder that we're baking this weekend if you can, or if you can't bake, maybe you can buy. And just gather a dozen or so, maybe 12 to 20 individual serving bags for our Christmas dinner for our homeless, houseless community. Well, we serve, they receive dinner every 2 weeks, on a Tuesday night at Sacred Heart Parish in Ocean Beach. And this Tuesday is their Christmas dinner. So we as an office are taking care of their whole dessert for everybody. So if everybody can just gather little individual served bags of cookies so that nobody has to touch them, they can just be handed right to our guests. Delivery on Monday, anytime, drop them at the office. I'm going to be there first thing Tuesday morning to pick them up and deliver for that evening's dinner. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me, 619-787-1756. Thanks you guys for participating. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you for giving us something where we can give back and fill up, did you make it loud? Fill up those buckets without too much energy, honestly. I can bring in 12 cookies and bags or 20 cookies and be doing a lot of good without a lot of energy. So. Okay, Eric, are you there? The sharpest guy I know.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we have our fabulous faces, Eric Gilman, to be our S&P spotlight for today. Go ahead, my friend.
Beautiful. Thank you. Give me a thumbs up. You guys can hear me. I'm coming to you mobily today.
I can hear you. You're good.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to share. For those of you who haven't met, I am Eric. I'm the sharpest guy you know. And Evie, thank you for getting me on the meeting today. I know I was out here a couple weeks ago. I'm actually excited to be sponsoring Bold coming up this week. So we're going to keep it short and sweet and just share two really quick stories with y'all as we come to a close on this year. And as I should say, more excitedly, embark on what will be a record-breaking 2023 for many people. But yeah, for those of you who don't know or haven't met yet, which is very few, we work with the majority of the agents in the office. The what of what I do is quite simple. We custom engrave super high quality, 100% American made knives that are used every day by the entire family in the most used room in the entire household with your information, because the whole idea is to keep you top of mind forever. So my second story has to do with that. The first one, again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be on today, right now, this week, is because the holidays are coming up. Christmas is the big one, but let's not forget we've got Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I hope y'all have a rockin' Ramadan, a hell of a new year, all the good things. But the point being, whatever you're celebrating, this is a time where a lot of people get gifts for people. They do something special. They go above and beyond. This is also a time where people wait in traffic, go to the mall, buy crap that never gets used, invest in things that aren't American made. So my first story has to do with me, who's worried about having to go to the mall this weekend and fight crowds and do all these things and get chinky gifts online that aren't really high quality. So don't let that be you, and invest in something high quality this season. So if you need Cutco for gifts for your family, friends that are unengraved, happy to do that this year for you. Anyone who places an order before the end of the year, I'll include a small little deluxe paring knife for free. Why? Now, the next story, before I just leave you with this today, why I want to meet with you before the end of the year is because it's going to greatly serve your business and marketing strategy in 2023. So I've known many of you for a while, been selling knives and changing lives for 16 years. I'm in the Cutco Hall of Fame. My favorite part of my job is not actually when I sell a lot of knives, or even when I get paid on it, or even when I do something fun with whatever I get paid on. My favorite part of the job is getting phone calls like the one I'm about to tell you about, is because that's when my job is complete, is when I've generated an exciting business for you. So Monday after Thanksgiving, I get a phone call from my client up in North County, Erin Wade, and she goes, Eric, I need to order some more of these knives. This past Thanksgiving, I got 2 phone calls from people. Both of them, they started with how much they were loving the knives and bragging about it to their friends. And Eric, you're never going to believe this. Both of those phone calls ended with me getting referred to their friends at Thanksgiving. My friends, what systems are you putting in place to make sure that you're unforgettable with your clients? I'll leave you with this quote from Patricia Fripp. It's not your client's job to remember you. It's your responsibility and obligation to make sure they never have the opportunity to forget about you. I'm super grateful to be a part of the Metro family, coming to you mobily today. I'll be coming to you in 3 dimensions at Bold. I'm going to put my information in the chat here. Again, I would love the opportunity to connect, either if you need holiday gifts. The deadline is Monday. After Monday, no guarantees that they get here before Christmas. If you need gifts for next year, let's get together. Let's chat. If you place a gift order, I'll buy you a piece of Cutco for your own home. I know I'm Zoom, but help me out here, Sarah. The only thing in the whole world better than Cutco is
Free Cutco.
I love all of you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a super sharp rest of your week.
Eric, I didn't even make you give anything away for free today. They weren't planning on. That's awesome.
I have some to give away for free at the holiday party.
Yeah. One of the reasons, there's a lot of reasons why I adore Eric, and he builds a beautiful business and he gets great results. And he talked about systems, he talked about models, he talked about getting referrals. And the other thing he offered you guys, who's heard the word, it's not a word, MOFR? Make offer for immediate response. What's your MOFR? When you're talking to clients and you're putting out a message, what's your MOFR? What was Eric's MOFR he just made? In Zoom or on the room? Nobody was listening?
Free Cutco.
That he's
Go
giving,
ahead, Susan.
that he's giving away free Cutco at the Christmas party.
He said, he said, if you place an order, I will give you a free paring knife. He talks fast, I talk fast, so I hear him. So if you place an order, I will give you something in return, right? So the MOFR part is huge, and you'll always hear it when he talks, and that's why I wanted to like put a dot on that for you guys, because it's not just, hey, here's a spiel, it's leading with a testimonial, it's telling a story, it's creating a feeling of like, oh my gosh, and then that happened, and I got this. So it's systems, results, MOFR, it's doing all the things we talk about. And that's where our preferred partners really shine. So thank you, Eric. We adore you. Broker Bob, would you like to go through our coaching spotlights?
Yes, I will, Sarah. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's give a shout out to the people in the coaching program doing a fantastic job on Team Alicia. Carlos Martinez got 2 more BRE signed. He's in launch, and Sarah Hunter opened an escrow on her own listing and growth. Great job. And on Team Deborah, Julianne Robinson joined the launch program. Janet opened up an escrow with her buyer. She's in launch. And then Eric Robinson closed on escrow with his buyer, and he's in growth. Quick broker stuff. Just keep in mind that the week of December 13th or 14th, Zip Forms will have an update on multiple forms, including the RPA and some additional forms. So once Mark is able to get those templates added with the new forms, those will be available. But just be aware of that, because some things will change, and you need to be aware. If you want to go to the car.org website and look at the tutorial, if you missed last week's team meeting when I covered a little bit of it, you can go there as well too. They have plenty of videos. All right, that's it. Back to you, Sarah.
Thanks, Robert. And he is not auditioning for an M&M video. He is under the weather and still coming back in all his shining glory and resting in his frigid weather and feeling good. So feel better, baby. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for the people who are a certain age that understand M&M video too. This is just for me. This whole meeting is just for me. You guys are just here backup noise. Okay, Movement Mortgage, who do I have on today to give us some good or bad or whatever updates?
Sarah might not be in.
Oh my gosh.
I think
I think they're at a national conference right now, and that's why none of them are available. I just forgot about it. So stay tuned for something coming there where they're going to share something about rates and cool stuff coming up. They got like an inside scoop, not a legal inside scoop, a totally legal inside scoop of what's happening. I believe that's going to be shared next week. And anybody property pitch or buyer need? I never give you this chance, so take it if you got it. Eva Bloom, you got to come up here.
Oh.
Yep. Sorry, you said something.
Please watch my stuff.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so I'm going on our signing appointment tomorrow. I have a listing coming up in Sarah Mesa, 92123, right? It is a 4-bedroom, I believe it's 2.5 bath. The property is a mess. She had a flood in her kitchen from the refrigerator that she tore the cabinets out and hasn't done anything since. And she has not been upstairs to the bedrooms and the 2 full bathrooms in about 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So if you have a client who's looking for a major project, I'm not sure our pricing, but I think after repair value should be in the 950 range right now. So we're going to need to backtrack from there. So call me, Amy Blue.
I mean, we need pictures, I think.
I can't even take pictures. I mean, when I say it is in, like, the corrosion on the sinks under the bathroom sinks is literally this thick.
All right, so calling all investors.
Calling on, and the dirt in the bathtub literally goes halfway up the wall.
Guys,
That's what it's.
we help all sellers. We help all sellers. Anybody else, property pitch or, that's all, everyone's buyers needs, I don't know about that. Property pitches, listings taken to advertise now, going once. Going twice. Share files. All right. Your piece has been spoken, now it's my turn. It's my turn up here. I'm gonna tell you the real story, because you know, I'm always super authentic, or if you don't know, I am always super authentic. What you see is what you get. I was going to do today's meeting about building your database. And it's not that that's not important, to be clear, that is critically important. Do you as a realtor have any other commodity that you has value if you are not present in your business? No, there's people shaking their heads in the room. I can't see so. Shove them both together. You don't. So if your database isn't fed, watered, grown, loved, it's worthless. Carl shared with us this morning that something Gary Keller said recently, and that is a 1,700 person database will yield you $1 million in GCI. Does that work if it's just like 1,700 names that you don't do anything with? No. So people will be like, oh, I have a database, I don't make that much money. I'm like, do you feed it, water it, love it, and grow it? Pretend it's a plant. Maybe not. Some plants die. Pretend it's a puppy, right? So the database conversation isn't happening today. You're like, yes, it is. You're talking about it. We're not focusing only there. It is very important. Jacqueline is going to be putting up small videos, bite-sized videos, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, small. She's got a system. She doesn't talk as much as me. To give you do nows, right? If anybody was in education at all, you get a do now. Go do this now and get this result. Go put these people in your database and update it with this information and get this result. The goal of why we're going to keep having that conversation really strongly forever, but now through family reunion in February, is because the number has been released. That is true numbers from command. Agents with 201 or more people in their database. This is real agents in our ecosystem with real contacts that have home address, phone number, email, and name. Right? Which are actively connecting with a smart plan, are making $116,000 or more in GCI. If you pull out your phone and open your contacts and scroll to the bottom and don't have at least 201 people in there, I don't even believe you. Between that and Facebook and email, you know at least 201 people. We're overcomplicating it, and that's not the answer. So we're here to simplify. We're going to give you simple tasks. Jacqueline's going to tell you the right smart plans. We're going to downsize it as much as we can, chunk it down to make it attainable so that everyone here starts February 2023 with their database ready to grow and thrive from where it is. I can't do it for you. I can, but then you have to pay me a lot of money. I'll start that side business. Ashley, is that okay? I'll start doing it. So you have to do it for yourself, right? So we're gonna give you all the steps, and I'm joking about it because we overcomplicate it and we go like, oh, how am I gonna do more? Are you doing the 4 simple things you're supposed to do already? Like, let's just start there. Okay, so that's the conversation we're not having, those 7 minutes. But I want you to be on the lookout for Jacqueline's videos, and I want you to understand. Top producers also don't have their database in order. Brand new agents almost have a leg up over experienced agents because they don't have any messes to clean up. Okay, so there's like a lot going on. So just do the steps, follow the path, and let's go. So today's meeting, what I learned this morning, I was in a mastermind. I'm lucky to have my Wednesday morning start with 2 of the smartest brains in Keller Williams. Those are Ashley's words about them. I love them a lot too, but she's like, those are 2 of the smartest people in this whole company. And on Wednesday mornings, I start my day with them. And then a host of other people from around the country. And so if I come to team meetings and always have random nuggets and you're like, what is with that? It's because it happens Wednesday morning. You guys get it like hot off the press. So this morning I chopped the entire plan for the team meeting and we're doing this instead. Because who's heard the phrase lead yourself, lead? I talk fast too. Lead yourself first. Anybody? Yes, I got at least one yes in the room. You're in charge of Zoom monitoring, I don't know. So lead yourself first. What does that mean? Don't be scared, I'm not gonna be mean.
Lead by example.
Lead by example.
Take care of
Yes.
yourself before you can take care of others.
Take care of yourself before you can take care of others. If you aren't healthy, happy, and thriving, can you really lead others to be their best selves? No. Does energy matter? Yes, very much so. So we're going to go through an exercise together. You don't have to share your results. Don't worry, they're private. And it's going to be an energy assessment. And my goal for you guys in this is to really be honest with yourself and be reflective. If you're doing it live with us, awesome. If you're watching a recording later and doing it then, still just as important, so still do the dang thing. And I'm going to start with a couple of lines from the book Winning by Tim Grover. Has anybody read it? Winning by Tim Grover? Anybody on Zoom? Winning by Tim Grover. He's a guy who coached Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. I don't know if they were even like good or did anything in the world before, but like I think maybe they have some stuff to talk about. And he wrote this book called Winning, and he has 13 rules of winning. It's an awesome book. You should definitely read it or listen to it. It's not like go win and be awesome. It's not like a rah rah who says that. Like if you're here for a hype master, that's not me. He gives the 13 rules of winning, and when I read them, it resonated so much that I wanted to make sure I share it with you guys, because you're going to listen to these and they're going to hit you differently based on where you are in your world and your life, both personal and business. And the funniest thing about how he writes this book, it's the 13 rules of winning, but they're all number 1. They're not 1 through 13 because not one is more important than another, right? So winning makes you different, and different scares people. Winning wages war on the battlefield in your mind. Winning is the ultimate gamble on yourself. Winning isn't heartless, but you'll use your heart less. Winning belongs to them, and it's your job to take it. Winning wants all of you. There is no balance. Winning is selfish. Winning takes you through hell. And if you quit, that's where you'll stay. Winning is a test with no correct answers. Winning knows all your secrets. Winning never lies. Winning isn't a marathon, it's a sprint with no finish line. Winning is everything. probably one of those hit different than the other. Just think about which one speaks to you the most, because that one is opening the door to where you are at this year end, right? You guys, it's December. It's the last month of the year. It's almost the last week of the last month of the year. It has all this weightiness to it of like, oh, did I hit my goals? Did I hit my goals? Am I winning? How much am I winning? Am I winning as much as I want to be winning? Am I winning in my life, in my family, in my business? Like, there's so many things you could feel about winning, and where are you? And are you living in the gap? Are you living in the gain? And that's another book we'll talk about next year. It's also that weird time when people start saying, see you next year all the time. I haven't seen this last year. Winning, what you hear in all of them is resilience, right? Every winner has resilience. And he talks about at the end of something major and how many champions break down. And the breakdown doesn't come from sadness in that moment. It comes from the reflection of where you've been to get to where you are, right? So as you think about whichever one hits the most, and whatever you think about in your personal life, in your family life, in your business life, you're like, personal life is family life. I mean, hope so, but what hits with you, and where do you feel like you need to focus that energy, and where have you already broken through? If you look back at this year, you'll find that you're surrounded by things you didn't know you already had that you wanted for a long time. We went and got a tiny little live Christmas tree, not on purpose really, and put it upstairs on a landing in my house. And I always wanted a tree on a landing that like you could see from below. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, we have the thing. I'm like living in the thing, but I wanted the thing, and now we have the thing. I didn't go out until like today I'm accomplishing a goal that I had years ago. It just happened. And sometimes if you pay attention to what's happening around you, you realize you're actually living in a vision board you had a long time ago. Right? So I put all that together because it really matters as you face this end of year and where your brain lives. And when you look to next year, what your focus is. And we're going to go through this exercise now. And I want you to understand there is zero judgment. Zero judgment. You can only be authentic with yourself. Winning never lies. I don't know, I love that one. The one that I hearted, you could see on my paper from my actual coaching call, was winning isn't heartless, but you'll use your heart less. For me, that's my thing. So think about what is your thing. And that's because I'm really sappy and gutsy, and like I realize to lead effectively, you have to remove a lot of the sap and the gush and still somehow lead with your heart. It's very weird. Okay, so the energy assessment 0 through 10. 0, and if you don't have paper, if you have paper, awesome. Okay, laptop, awesome. If you don't have paper, I'm gonna guess everyone has a phone, and it has a little section called notes, where you can open an email, send an email to yourself, or do whatever you want to do. Please write these things down and do this for yourself. And my disclaimer is none of these things are made to make you feel bad about yourself anyway. They are helping you grow forward effectively. Have I said that enough? I want to make sure I said that. Okay. So 0 is this needs a lot more attention. This area of my life needs a lot more attention. 10 is I should go be on a podcast and talk about this with an expert because I'm crushing it. Right. And the categories are, number 1 is diet. Not are you on a diet, but what do you feed your body with? On a scale of 0 to 10, it's your private answer. 0 meaning this needs a lot more attention, and 10 meaning I'm ready for a podcast. Exercise is number 2. We know what Eve's answer on number 2 is. Well, that's funny. I would actually give Eve a 10, and she'll probably say, I'm a 7, right? Exercise. And it's because movement matters, right? Movement matters. That's all there is to it. Sleep. Sleep. Do you have a system? Do you have a plan? Do you have a bedtime? The guy who was in the mastermind this morning said you should have a bedtime and it's on a range, it's a time, and you're a grown-up, and you set rules for yourself, and you follow your rules, and I was like, oh, that's the part I keep missing, follow your own rules, I forgot that part. It's on a range or a window, it's a time that you put yourself to bed at because sleep is important. And if you don't sleep well, how do you show up the next day? Full of energy and excitement, or like a lion that's loose in its cage, so I go in bed. That's just me. Water. How do you say water if you're not from New Jersey? Water. WATER. Hydration.
Water.
0 to 10. And like, for example, on this one, I mean, I'm a 5, I drink water, I don't drink it all the time. A lot of times I've had 5 cups of coffee and no cups of water, and I'm like, oh, drop water. So if you're someone who like knows you drink your amount of ounces, I love how many people are sipping their water in the room now. It's like it's subliminal or intentional. If you're drinking like, oh, I drink more than a gallon, they say you're supposed to drink half your weight in ounces, right? So if you're doing that, great, you're a 10. If you're not, you're not. And only you know your number. What? There's water. I know, I say that, it doesn't count. I tried that way. One of the guys this morning said, well, I drank water with my whiskey, does that count? And they're like, no. Yeah, I know. Amy's got the water down, she's ready for the podcast. Some things will be podcast ready, other things will be like, I don't know. So breathing, and you're like, breathing, duh, we're all alive, that's stupid. Intentional breathing. Intentional breathing. I'm gonna share a couple things with you guys on that because funny enough, just shared on my Facebook this morning a new meditation I started listening to. And I'll tell you about that when we get to it. Breathing intentionally. All right, real estate agents. The next category is called quiet. Get comfortable with the discomfort that brings you. Yes, Amy.
I'm quiet.
Quiet.
Not talking or being in an environment that allows quiet.
Yes, quiet is alone time with yourself and your thoughts. Now, you could say, I have my quiet time when it's me in the shower. You could say, I have my quiet time and it's the end of the day, staring out the window. It has to be quiet, so you can't have the TV doesn't count. I have quiet while I'm watching a show, right? Quiet is your quiet time. And for some people, it could be like deep meditation, and for others, it's just sitting in silence and being reflective or reflective. What is it if you're reflective? It's not a word. It is now. Thinking about your day ahead. You probably do. And if you do Miracle Morning, you probably have quiet time, reflective time, right? Thinking time. You have to be thinking quiet though. Okay, the last one's one of my favorites. And its number is up to you, and its category is called alcohol. And somebody was like, do I get a point if I drink a lot? It's like, no, that's not the way it's about. And now again, remember I said no judgment, right? So here's what's important about this. The spin put on it afterwards was, who do you know that eats terribly, doesn't exercise, doesn't sleep, is dehydrated, is always in a noisy environment, and drinks all the time that you look up to? Because when you bundle them together, you're like, oh, yeah, that's a hot mess. I mean, that's why we had our 20s, right? No. So look at those numbers, seriously. And on the scale of 0 to 10, the first thing, here's where people go wrong. This isn't to go like change your world, change your life, and now everything's like magical and you went through some creation or thing. This is to reflect on where you are and see where we can go. Because all of these things lead to our energy level. And what would it take to move your lowest ranking thing 2 or 3 spots forward? Notice I didn't say, what does it make for everything to be a 10? That's not our goal. Your lowest ranking thing is probably the thing you think you need the most, right? And what does it look like to move that one thing 2 or 3 spots forward? Does that feel attainable to you? Manageable, right? The quiet part, they brought up daily meditation, because somebody on the call actually said, like, help me understand, what does that mean? And quiet and breathing actually went together. And so for breath work, they said, it was breath work first. And he said, how do I effectively breathe? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. So also ask questions. If you don't know, ask questions. If you're like, how do I exercise? What do I do? I mean, we have Eve, she's like a pro queen of all the things now. Ask her. She wants to help you with that, right? So for breath work, you can combine breath and meditation if you want to. You can combine quiet and water if you want to. We'll work through a couple of these things. So there's an app called Open. I don't have it, but one of the guys in the call said that's what he does. It's an app, you download it. Every day it's going to give you an 11-minute meditation. Doesn't mean everyone should go to the app store right now and download the app. It means think about, there's also an app called Calm. There's lots of apps, right? The one I shared this morning on my Facebook page is a 5-minute app by Gabby Bernstein, yours has your back lady. And she challenges you to listen to it for 40 days and see what you feel like. And if you're like me, then you look at the topic of meditation and you think like, I don't know how to do that. Whenever I start meditating, I'm like, am I meditating right? Am I doing it right? It says meditating, I don't feel calm, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Oh my God. That's just me. So this meditation app is actually a completely guided meditation, and it's an affirmation meditation as well. And I say, if you feel like overwhelmed by the thought of that, try that one because it's quick. Probably her first minute is actually her talking about do it every day. Just do it for 40 days and see how you feel. Your cells are listening all the time. Your brain is listening all the time. So if you start your day with a 5-minute meditation of joy, for sure, it won't make your day worse, right? I'm not gonna say that it'll make your day amazing and better and awesome, although my past days have been pretty great. So that's the meditation one. There's also the Open app, like I said, that's 11 minutes. Some people go like, oh, God, 11 minutes. That's crazy. Steve, I'm just okay. 11 minutes feels crazy. So for breath work, you can breathe through your meditations. That's when I'm in my meditation. Listening, I close my eyes and I breathe to relax myself. And really, because I'm like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it the best I can be? Am I doing it good? So the other part of breath work is there's 2 things. I'm not a master at this. These are tips shared with me this morning. The first one is a 4-second box breath. It's in for 4 seconds. It's holding it for 4 seconds. It's exhaling. I won't do it in mic. For 4 seconds, and then holding that for 4 seconds. So it's in deep breath, hold 4 seconds, exhale 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds, right? Who knows why breath work is important? Do you know? Why? Okay.
It restarts your system. It tells your body that you're okay immediately. So your 4 breaths, just the back of the fingers,
What she said for you guys that can't hear, it restores your system and tells your body you're okay. The calm, intentional breathing tells your body you're okay. One of the guys shared this next one and said, if you are someone who's prone to like panic and anxiety feelings, this is the breath work they suggest for that. It's 7-second breathing. And you exhale for 7 seconds without stopping. The reason, and he said, if you do it, if you feel like that, these are his words, he feels like that and he uses this. Then after 2 or 3 times, you press that reset button, you've held it in for long enough, you've depleted your oxygen level so much that your body can't be stressed. Your body is smarter than you. And when you exhale all the way, it won't let you hold on to stress because you've told it, I'm safe, I'm okay. That's so crazy. The other part of why your breath work will calm you and center you, if you're doing it and learning, I'm sure eventually get to a place where you don't count. You can't count and think at the same time.
That's why I use mantra.
Everyone's doing it right now. They're like, can I? You can't count and think at the same time. Jacqueline said that's why I use a mantra. Oh, really? Yeah.
Same principle, you're using the mantra, you can't wonder.
You focus your thought, you eliminate free thought. Not forever, just for the breath work. And you focus your breathing, you literally reset your system. Who else didn't know that and thinks that's awesome? Because I was like, oh man, it's amazing. And then you're doing it and it's, okay. So breath work, that will calm you and center you. Who feels around the holidays and the end of the year like they could use a little extra calming and centering? Just me? Okay. So these tips and tricks, think of it now. When you go on an appointment and you're about to walk into a listing presentation, you're totally freaking out and overwhelmed. Take 30 seconds and sit in your car and breathe. Do you think that will make you feel better? When you go on an appointment and something goes really wrong and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not good at my job and what am I even doing here? Or the buyers are jerks, because sometimes they're jerks. Whatever it is, go back to your breath work and use it to calm you and center you, right? When your mother-in-law is at your house, no. When your spouse is extra awesome. Use it in real life. When your kids, well, you guys, my kids, I love them so much. Last night, was not our finest moment as we were getting ready to go out and look at Christmas lights in Monroe neighborhood. Like, where's the joy? This is go to your breath work, be quiet and reflective for a minute. If you're like, I don't have time for that. My day is so cluttered, I'm trying to breathe on purpose. Okay. I'm up for that challenge. So you also need to add the quiet time if it's not something you're doing. And maybe you feel, this is not me making fun, you might really have this obstacle. Like you wake up in your day and whether it's your puppy who tortures you every morning, oh, that's just me, or your kids wake up, or you have to pack lunches, or whatever the case might be, and you feel like your day from the second you open your eyes till the second you go to sleep at night is out of your control. Right? Sometimes we feel that way. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. The sleep is so important. I know. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Go to bed 15 minutes earlier. And sit by yourself in silence to start your day. That also will bring the quiet into play. You can level up your game if you're a multitasker, even though that's not a thing we say, right? Multitasking is not a thing. I don't know. If I got up 15 minutes earlier and I sit in a chair and quiet and I drink water, and then I breathe sometimes while I'm drinking water and do some intentional breath work in between, am I kind of doing all the things, or like a lot of those things?
It's great.
And you're centering yourself and you're starting your day with a clean, fresh thing. What's the other thing that happens if you start your day with something like that? It sets the tone, and you've already won. You won your day from the moment you started, right? Winning your day is so important. So anywhere you can find and win your day. I mean, you can also say I didn't drink when I woke up, so like that's another one I didn't do. I want to make jokes about that. That could be serious. So quiet, breathing, and water, right? And then sleep. Those all go together. So wake up 15 minutes earlier, sit in the chair, drink some water. Wake up 15 minutes earlier, listen to a meditation, and don't drink water while you're doing that. Just let your brain relax. Whatever ones of those things speak to you the most, go do that. And if you don't exercise at all, or you're like me and you exercise like once, and you're like, I'm gonna do it every day, and then you're like, oh, I need to spend a week again. And then you're like, I don't do it again. Go take a walk. Walk around your block. Take your calls on a walk. Like whatever you can add small. This isn't go train for a marathon or run an Ironman, right? Not everyone is going to get the pro card. It's how can you add small bits of movement and life to your day so that you are living your best life and keeping your energy at the highest level.
Yeah.
Yes, Evie.
There is a little behind you on that screen. I have this really and Andrea with good questions.
Can you see it?
If you don't drink, is that a 10 under it says 0?
So that's what you said this morning, Judy, and this wasn't my list, but they said, and I think I know alcohol can be like a very sensitive topic, so I'll be mindful of that. And what he said was like, just be mindful of it, right? Like my father-in-law would say, I'm having my glass of red wine every night, and that's how I live my life, and that's so there's no judgment around it. It's like just be reflective on that thing. And what I found is that I actually could use I'll use me as an example, this is my self-talk. I use my father-in-law, who is a strong Italian, energetic guy who wakes up every morning and does his exercises and does his stretches and does his things and ends every night with a glass of red wine, or I think just one, maybe two. I would go to myself like, I don't feel the best, but like, I really want to have a glass of wine tonight. So like, should I just have it? Because that's what my father-in-law would do. Maybe that would make me feel better. And what I learned over time and watching myself and checking my energy the next morning is like, how do I actually feel when it's all the time, right? Again, it's a personal conversation with yourself. It's really just be reflective on it. So if you don't feel your best and you're crushing all the other things, which one stands out the most? And then water, if you drink lots of water is out of 10 too. Again, I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor. The rule behind water, if you look it up at all, is half of your weight in ounces. So if you weighed 100 pounds, you would drink 50 ounces of water. That would be enough for your body according to the things. Is that right, Evie?
I mean, if you stay active, you'll probably want to drink a little bit more, just, you know, when you're sweating, you lose a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's good one.
Yeah, for the hydration, because your brain, think about, what's a raisin for? It's a raisin, a grape. Think about a grape turning into a raisin. That's your brain. Your brain is plump and juicy and full, and then if it's dehydrated, it's literal. Who's ever been dehydrated, actually? I mean, does that feel good? No, it is horrifying and terrible feeling. So that's true dehydration. So that's why water is important. And again, I want us to look at these topics because this came up this morning. I feel overwhelmed in our mastermind. I feel overwhelmed, or my energy feels off, or something feels weird, and we can start looking outward for like, what's the answer? And a lot of times the answer, well, all the time, it starts with us, right? So as you're looking at your year and stuff and thinking, what am I doing? Lead yourself first. If you're leading yourself first, you'll be able to think clearly and keep going. One of the lines I heard was, your willpower is not on a will call. I was like, oh, you're looking right at me when you say that, right? So we all have our thing that's like, what's the thing we need to be better at? That's the thing that's resonating with you. And that's where you almost like feel a little bit of like guilt towards yourself. If you're like me, you're like, oh, that's the thing I'm not. And it could be sleep, right? I'm not sleeping enough. I should be doing that more. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts around any of that before we go?
Yoga bot?
Yeah.
Okay,
Come on,
so
Jacqueline. Jacqueline has a yoga bot.
I do. So for those of you that don't know, I'm 500-hour yoga certified. When I was teaching yoga, one of the things that really stuck out to me in yoga teacher training was there was this moment when they were talking about the parasympathetic nervous response, right? Which is exactly what Lydia said, it's when you like reset that button with your breath. Part of what I struggled with is I was always trying to achieve, always trying to do, right? My boss forced me to go to yoga because she said, you're a mess. Go to yoga. I'm like, but I got a promotion. She's like, yes, go to yoga. What I had a hard time with is, why am I stressed out? I'm doing all the things, like I have to do all these things. Why? I don't even see why I'm stressed out. And she said, think about it. It used to be fight or flight. There's a giant, like back to early man, right? It's a giant bear chasing at you. Adrenaline spikes, you're running, like your body needed that spike. It needed that spike in energy. And when the bear was gone, you reset. You saw the threat, you saw the thing that was driving you to be stressed. So it was easier to reset yourself and easier to give yourself permission to reset yourself. My struggle and my constant challenge that I'm working on is, I don't see it. I'm going to my job. I'm doing the things. I'm, checking all the boxes. Why am I so stressed out? But the things that stress us and trigger us, I'm on my phone all of the time. I'm seeing everybody go do Christmas lights with their family, and I need to go do Christmas lights with my family, and my dog needs a Christmas card photo with Santa, and my list and my list and my list, and I'm stressing myself out because I'm doing so many things. It's just not as obvious as a bear chasing at me. So if any of that helps any of you, please know that I'm still constantly in this challenge, but it doesn't have to be a bear coming at you. To give yourself permission to do that deep breath and that reset. And our society tends to be running in that fight spirit much longer now because we don't have those natural triggers to tell us to reset. So if you can build this into your routine in any way, it just gives you that permission without having to sit there. So For what that's worth.
It's worth a lot. It's worth the bear. It's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so everyone's stressors are their own thing. And what stresses Amy might not stress me and might stress Lisa. And then Alicia has her own things. It's everyone has their own stuff in their head, right? You're the hero of your movie. Some people, like on the Zoom and in the room, you're the star of your movie, and other people aren't even in your movie at all, and you're like, wait, what? So you encounter people in your daily life, and they're a special guest star, right? They're a recurring character, they're another star of the movie. But remember, you're the star of your movie, so only you know what's truly going on in your mind and outside. I'm gonna give you a couple more pieces as we wrap up today, and if you have any questions, please think of them and ask them before we're done. David Goggins wrote another book that was released yesterday called Never Finish. And he said something really smart about, here's the problem. When things go dark, people freak out. And dark is not literally dark all the time, right? Like when things change, when something shifts, people freak out. And he said in the military, we drop in the dark, we move in the dark, we make movements in the dark, so we're unnoticed. And the first thing you do is create a perimeter to let your eyes adjust to the dark. Because ever walk through a room in the night and then like, oh, I can't see anything. And then you close your eyes for a second, you open again, now you can see some stuff. The longer you're in the dark, the more you can actually see in the same place that a second ago you couldn't see anything. The reflection of that in your business right now, it could be in your life and your personal life as well. And in your business, things have changed drastically this year. Drastically, right? In that there's not crazy bidding wars. Open houses don't have lines of 100 people out the door. You know, interest rates aren't what they used to be. The reality is the only constant is change. So if we live in the freak out because something got dark and changed, do good things come when you stay in the freak out? Or does calm come when you close your eyes and let your eyes adjust to the dark, right? So in that messaging, it's give yourself the grace to move forward and see things differently. Understand that the market has changed. And the media is telling that story loud and clear. And I have been saying this since February. So if it sounds the same, it should seem a little bit different right now in that the media will give its message every day forever. That's what they're paid to do. It's just them doing their job. Your job is to find the truth in that. So like next week, when you come to stats, you'll hear the truth from Ashley about our San Diego market stats, right? When you look at your business, if you're planning forward for 2023 or reflecting on 2022, you'll see your true reality. And the media doesn't matter. Does it matter if the whole country sold 30% less homes? If you sold 5 more than you did the year before? Doesn't matter if your clients who are buying their first home or their third home or selling their house to pay for their kid's wedding or whatever they're doing. None of that matters. So when you're feeling that overwhelm right now, go back to our energy moments and think about where are you? Give yourself that check. Think about you just walk into a dark room and you can't see anything. And like, how am I going to see clearly? What do I need to actually be looking at? And there's a book that was mentioned. I think this is probably my 4th one of the day, but that's okay. Selling in a Crisis. I just got it on Audible this morning when I was driving down, and I think it's like a 90-minute listen if you go like 1.5 times speed. Pro tip, don't listen to audiobooks on 1 times speed. We don't need to hear them, take all those pauses, right? So Selling in a Crisis, it's going to just give you the basics of as you're looking right now at the year forward and thinking about your business and what are you doing, it's going to give you foundation pieces. And guess what they all say? Like, keep it simple. Do your thing. If you're doing your lead gen, do your lead gen, right? Humble yourself and figure it out and just do it. So when you look at your numbers and you say, I want to sell 20 homes next year, does that mean you only have to talk to 20 people? No, there's math there, right? We have to start with the end in mind and then work backwards to figure out the numbers. So talk to me, talk to Jacqueline, talk to your coach, talk to anybody who's going to help you get there. And I want to leave you with this one thing. the whole energy piece leads into this question. What is the last hard thing you did that leaves you proud and inspired because you did it? Something you had to work for, you planned for, you were inspired by, and you did it. Think. If it's something in this year, that's amazing. If you gotta start going back to prior years, that's also a thing, and that's okay. And the question was asked because when you do that hard thing that then you're proud of, what do you feel? You feel good. You feel inspired by yourself. Inspired people inspire people. What do hurt people do? Hurt people, works both ways. So when you reflect on that moment to find the lesson you can be proud and excited of, and you think about, okay, I'm gonna live in that minute, I'm inspired by that, I'm gonna go be able to inspire more. I want you to look forward now at 2023. And tell me, what is the thing that's on your calendar or you're putting on your calendar to do the same thing this year? You guys, it can be a physical challenge. It can be a long vacation. It can be an investment property or buying your first property. It can be big goals in income. It can really be anything because your thing is your thing, right? No one's here to tell you what that thing is. If you don't have it on your calendar right now, it's not going to happen. You don't have it in mind right now, so you can't start working towards it. So this isn't to add stress and overwhelm. This is to add joy and inspiration. What is the thing? Think about it now through the end of the year to decide what's going to be on there. We're going to ask you guys. I heard this morning and I shared with Marcus and our leadership, and I said, I want to do two things with this because we say, live your life by design, right? We say, careers worth having, lives worth living, all these pieces, but what do we do to check that we're actually doing that? We will be reaching out to you guys and asking you what was the last thing you did that you felt inspired by. If you have a photo of it, awesome. I want to build a wall of it in our office for our agents, just little square pictures where everyone's sharing their thing. It could be a physical challenge. It could be you on top of a mountain. It could be something with your kids. It could be anything in the world that's your thing, right? And then we're going to ask you what's your thing for next year, and we're going to write it on a piece of paper, and we're going to have it on the wall. And then when you do the thing, we're going to take your picture that you give us, and we're going to put it on the wall to go with it. Because that's how we know we're helping you live your life by design. That's how we know we're helping you live your best life. So when you get the questions, answer them. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Really glad I got an empty day to have it. Any last comments or thoughts? I don't want to be ignoring anything. Otherwise, the show is over. Go in peace, y'all. And next Tuesday, I want to see Ashley from Market Stats. Yeah, it is on Tuesday. There's travel, that's why. Thank you guys. Happy week.